Do you guys want to just jump right in?
Kind of.
This is weird.
It is weird. I haven't been a player in so long.
Connor expectantly looking at Eric's video feed and Eric looking surprised. Oh, right. I'm in charge.
You wanted to call this one Enter Golericon?
I mean, yeah, that's the one I'm banging around. We got time to change that.
Oh, no. As soon as the mic's on, he's not so confident.
So, yeah, no, I mean, the reason I want to call it is you coined the term, Connor, originally. So I for anyone listening, Golarion is the world that Pathfinder is set in. I, as a creator, I'm going to use that word loosely here.
Oh, yeah, careful.
When I'm playing, I don't know, I have a huge mental block when I'm like playing in Golarion, because like it's like if someone asks me a question, I'm like, what's over that ridge? It's like, well, I gotta go look online and yeah, according to this guy, this it's a big mental block. Whereas if I'm in my own world that mimics Golarion, then I'm free to fuck around with anything I want.
Make up a whole city and stuff.
Yeah, make it like my last wall is different than the other Golarion. It's stolen a lot from it. I will flat out admit it's stolen a lot from it. But I mean, I can use that to tell the story that I want to tell. Or if there's an interesting bit of Golarion, I don't mind messing around with it, because we're not in Golarion. We're in Golericon. Eric's Golarion. So that's why we're in Golarion.
Oh, I understand now.
Now, when we did... what did we do? Queen of the Crimson Throne?
Curse of the Crimson Throne.
Curse of the Crimson Throne. Was that in Golericon?
No, because that was before I thought to do this.
I have been, and like there are going to be people who I've told anecdotes about that from, who are going to hear this, people I know and like I tell stories to. I was convinced that you wrote that. I had no idea of the concept of like, it was my first time playing a tabletop RPG when we ran through that. And so I had no concept of pre-written stuff. And I was like, my buddy Eric has been writing a fucking novel for us. It's been amazing. And he's got like this computer program. And like the way he presented to us and like all this crazy stuff. And there was enough kind of like, why does that happen? Because it doesn't make sense. It's like, of course, someone who hasn't had an editor go through it wrote this. And then I found, you told me what it was, and I read up and I'm like, we did a couple weird leaps of logic there, but you were pretty true to it. And so I was like, fuck, I have to like, the people that you came to one of my sessions and played with, Eric. Oh, yeah. I told them all about you running that. And then later on, I explained to them, I was like,
I lied.
Else wrote it.
He's not as cool as I thought he is.
Next time you see him, feel free to tell him
he's just an idiot that can barely read.
Yeah. Yeah, I fucked some stuff up in that campaign, but I think we did pretty good as a group.
It's fun, right? That's what this entire thing is about. It's about having fun.
Yeah, and we had a ton of fun. So, yeah, Golericon, it let, like I like drawing maps too. I like world building, so I drew a couple of maps for the world. And I've stolen some parts of Golarion that I've really enjoyed, and kind of morphed it into my own, so I can have my own story. And like I'm going to be using APs, like adventure paths and modules. Well, sorry, not adventure paths. I'm going to be using modules and interspersing them between bits of my own homebrew. And that's the whole plan for this campaign, is using those modules and morphing them into what I want to tell, a different story that's similar. We're going to tackle some cool things, hopefully, if we can get through it all.
I'm sure we'll have many opportunities to come to it with Kimball's situation.
And I'm not worried if we only get through some of it. There's one homebrew story that I've been wanting to run players through for a very long time, so I really hope we get to there. So,
captive audience, man.
Yeah.
We have to play it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really excited to go forward with this. So what I've done is I've taken like the idea of Last Wall. So in Golarion, Last Wall's whole reason it exists is it's like a neutral country that is there to fight off orcs from the holds of Belkzan, and also to like watch over the Whispering Tyrant. He was like a big lich lord that came up and wrecked everyone's day, and like all these dwarves and humans gathered together to fight him off, and they beat him, and they sealed him in his tower. So the people of Last Watch has been spending the last like 600 years or something stupid watching over and making sure he doesn't rise to power again. So I've kind of scrapped the idea of the Whispering Tyrant, and I've delved more into the orc thing. So in Golericon, orcs came up from the south and ravaged the lands of the north, the lands of elves and humans and dwarves, and they fought back the orc menace, founded the kingdom of Lastwall, and they all the northern kingdoms send money and troops and food and supplies to Lastwall to man the wall throughout any other orcish uprising. Where our history starts, where our story starts, is about 70 years since the last big invasion, and the wall's getting beefed up. Like, because it's 70 years, the human kingdoms are starting to go, is Lastwall important? Do we care about sending stuff? So they send bad people, like the criminals, just like in Game of Thrones, like how criminals are sent to the wall. That's what the human people are doing. The elves and dwarves, who have long memories, still take it seriously. And like the dwarves just recently did a huge renovation of Vigil, and it's the main city on the wall. Huge fortifications to help make sure it never falls. So that's kind of what the country of Lastwall is like. It's mainly populated by humans, but there's lots of dwarves and elves present there as well. It's a big mixing area because like there's still a lot of trade and stuff that would go through Lastwall to like get to other parts of the kingdom. So it's a kind of like a hub for everyone to put aside their differences for a common.
Awesome.
Some sort of melting pot.
So the wall's between two oceans, right?
Yeah. So it's like it's basically where the Straits of Gibraltar are. If it was the equivalent to us, the northern area is like Europe, and that's where all the humans and then the orcs live in basically Africa. So it's kind of reminiscent of the Moorish invasions in my mind. So
is that racist?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
We have a raised hand.
It's just historical.
Liam.
Hi, yes. Do rivers work like that?
Yes. Which river?
No, I'm looking at. We joked about this when we were talking about the map yesterday, but
Yeah.
like none of the rivers on here look nonsensical. But Eric is so worried that when we put this map up, someone's going to rip him to shreds. I had to get out ahead of that.
You've got rivers flowing from the left ocean through the Fangwood to the right ocean.
Yeah, that's like it's the reverse
happens.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not flowing out of the right ocean as well. It's only flowing to the right ocean.
It flows to the left.
So it flows from the right ocean to the left.
Yeah.
ocean?
So the Beacon of Care is on the smaller, like it's an inner lake, basically, very similar to Golarion's inner sea region, and then
it flows out.
The inner sea has a little bit of spill, which is that river. So not a huge spill, but a little bit of spill into
the west of the Inishade Forest.
Yeah, on Care Grimward side of the wall is the big ocean, like the Atlantic Ocean, basically. So It does have a little bit of spill because they're pretty much level, but there's a little bit of seepage, right? You're going to have some seepage.
Now, what does Care mean? Caer?
Care means mountain hold, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Care Morin being the hold of the Witchers.
It's like Fortress Grimwald, or the beacon of Fortress Dun. I forget. Gotcha. I found it like that. I drew this map like 3 years ago.
I was going to say,
I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
I can remember you putting the last couple lines in on the ocean and showing me how you used GIMP when we could still.
Christ, you drew all this? God damn.
Yeah, I drew all this.
Eric has earned the title of King Dork. My
next map is better, in my opinion. I think I did a better job on the next map.
Christ, I'm just looking at the ocean, just all the lines there.
I did that when I was like break at work. I would just be like drawing on my break. It was fun. Good time.
Cool.
It's like fun to see how much better you are at this than me and most folks, because it's like, again, you've been making maps like this for way longer. You're the one who's been the most steeped in these games and shit, and so
I mean,
very fun to return to this.
These are heavily based off of like the Tolkien maps I grew up on, like the ones that are in his book. And then there's a woman who drew an atlas. I'm just flabbergasted that a human being did this, but like she drew an atlas of the entire Lord of the Rings. So you can flip through and you can see, she's like, yeah, they walked here. And there's all major points of the books are written.
Cool.
And it's amazing. So it's like the door, they stopped here for lunch. And then here is where the weather top was. And it's amazing. I'll show it to you guys if we ever get to see each other in real life again. I think I have 2 copies of it, actually.
This is it.
But it was like this middle-aged housewife was just like, you know what? I'm going to draw the maps of, like, it's amazing that she did this. Yeah. So I flipped through her shit. I copy a lot of her style. It's just, it's
good.
simplistic, it's easy, and it's nice. It looks nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The, like all things you have 2 copies of, I get dibs, I assume, because like I have your Pathfinder books. And I have all of your Fables books. I have your core rulebook.
A shit ton of his comics.
Yeah, I was going to say, if anyone needs it, it's not you, and I've never opened it, so I will return it when I can.
I actually used the bestiary to do some of the planning for tonight. It's like the first time I've ever cracked it open.
I hate you. See, when I got into these games, I got into them because I bought the fucking pocket bestiary for Pathfinder to have it. Because I wanted to like look at the cool monsters. And then you're telling me when you run games, you don't base it around the monsters?
Never. Well, no, I look up the monsters online usually. And like when I was running Curse of the Crimson Throne, all the monsters are built in. So like I didn't need the bestiary. But I did pick a really cool one for your first monster to fight. So I'm excited for that from the bestiary. So I'm pumped.
I wrote a whole 5-sitting, like 20-hour campaign around seeing a nothing shit beast like this. It's a 1/4 CR in 5th edition, which means that like a single level 1 player can take on 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's called a Vargul, and it is like a bat with a dead man's head. It's just like a screaming head with bat wings. It's like, how could I work that in? Looked into the lore on it, looked into all that shit, and figured out what would play nicely with it. It looks cooler there than the 5th edition version. The 5th edition version is hilarious. And I was like, I need to put this on a token.
It's a CR2 in Pathfinder.
Probably. Everything's harder in Pathfinder.
It's funny that you're mentioning Vargul, because it's like my monster is right next to Vargul. But so
vampire.
That's why I was like on that page, because it's like, oh shit.
Convenient.
I was gonna say if I accidentally outed your thing, just edit around it.
Yeah, fuck you.
I'm gonna be running some griffins in our campaign.
Ooh.
But they're going to be various types of griffin.
Oh,
I love that. One of my favorite things.
My favorite one in particular is half seagull, half raccoon.
Trash griffin.
And the tagline for it is, would fight God for half a bagel.
I love that. See, that's the thing. I have, and Connor, edit around this. I didn't mean to go full podcasty on our podcast, but I have a group where there's some younger kids, and one of the kids has played 3.5 since he could hold his head up. His family was super into it. And so like we play online, so he sees a token. He's like, oh, is that this monster? And starts listing stats off. And I'm like, I made this monster up, kid. I just didn't want to draw a new token, so I used the thing that made sense. He's like, oh, it's going to do this. I'm like, it's not. And I don't know how to say that without sounding rude to you, kid, but like, you're wrong. Back that up. There's nothing I love more than the bestiary, and then finding something you like the look of and thinking of what it should do, and then reading how unimaginative wizards can be sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like this one has claws and teeth that multi-attacks. It's like, didn't you say it was so hot it could melt someone's armor if they attacked it with a close-range weapon? Why doesn't it breathe fire? Like, why doesn't it do anything?
Why isn't that a rule for it then?
Yeah, it's like, why is it's the number of monsters in 5th edition that are like crazy description, all these different things that it's immune against, and then it's like on its actions it has multi-attack. This creature makes 1 attack with its claws and 1 attack with its bite. Or this creature uses its tail.
That's because Wizards is super hard into flavor text and doesn't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah. So
look at how they print magic cards. They have no idea what power level is. It's meaningless to them. Like, this is cool. That's a fucking bird that makes gold. Like, cool. Oh, good. It's a mana ramp. It's ridiculous. Anyways, tell us about who we are, why we are where we are, and what we're doing.
Okay. You all currently live and work at the rundown, flea-infested tavern called the Embassy of the Forgetful God. No, you don't serve drinks or make stew or clean rooms. Nothing so mundane. The tavern also serves as the headquarters of a small mercenary group. They're called the Ambassadors of Pain. The name needs a bit of work.
Nice.
The invention of the tavern owner, Muranus Hewlett. He's a small human man full of bad ideas. His current business is to find down-on-the-luck adventurers and recruit them into his mercenary group. He then hires them out as guards, couriers, and really for any job that pays. He's just trying to keep the tavern over his head, his men fed, and some ale. That's his entire business model. So you've all unfortunately found yourselves under his employ. So now is the time for you to tell me about your characters and how you ended up working for Muranus Hewlett.
I have a suggestion. Let's start with evilest alignment to goodest alignment, because that's kind of what we talked about before Taylor got here.
Sure.
Connor
okay.
and Taylor, you guys are there already, and today is my first day.
Yeah, so Taylor, we had a quick little chat about it beforehand, and then you and I had a little back and forth earlier about...
We did.
Your guys super into books, right?
I was going with that because I'm a monk of sorts. Mm-hmm. I figured I'd be out and about in the world trying to do like research, but not research, like lore gathering. I'm going out and about the world to find stuff to bring back to the monastery or wherever my group is, just to make books, spread the word throughout the world.
Okay. Now, what god do you worship?
I have not chosen one yet because I did not get that far. I assume a god of knowledge.
Okay. So, I have good news.
Uh-huh.
We're going to worship the same god.
Okay.
We're going to work for the same sort of deal. Because my god Nethys handles true neutral, as well as evil, which I happen to be. And...
Perfect.
It's the god of knowledge,
Nethys.
which is super useful. And more importantly, my character is a cleric, a gnome, obsessed with knowledge and destruction. He's also a bookmaker. So he copies down all the information he comes across to bring back to the monastery, much like you might. My gnome is Earconbert, nickname Bert, last name Spinebender, as a gnome of knowledge. I'm not sure why, but Eric has requested that we be particular alignments.
Okay.
So I'm a neutral evil. And again, I worship Nethys, as that was the most fitting god that I could find. And
I'm an elf.
I'm a weak gnome.
An elf, lawful neutral.
An elf monk.
Who apparently worships Nethys and jerks off to old tomes.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get my rocks off somehow.
So yeah, I'll be playing an evil cleric, an evil gnome cleric, which is a bunch of weird things I never thought I would say together.
Is that like Oathbreaker? What's the archetype there? Or are we getting that deep right now?
I don't believe there is an archetype in particular. I do my channel energy is evil instead of good, so I can't heal with it, or I can harm. I've also taken the dread gnome little archetype for the character. Gives me...
I think I dated a dread gnome.
Christ.
Poison saves, and I'm surly and just kind of shitty. So...
So how did you two end up working for Muranus then? Did you just like run out of money on your travels and be like, ooh,
I got robbed
to make money? Like, what happened?
I was going to say, maybe he has a book you guys were looking for and you're doing a long con.
I would not be doing any con. Yeah, I'm lawful.
He's lawful, right?
Lawful neutral.
Yeah.
I am lawful.
Lawful? Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So we're an unlikely pair, but we do work for the same overarching religious deity. And then now, obviously, we found ourselves together with this mercenary group. Seems like we got robbed and we need some money. So
we come from opposite chapters. I work by Care Dunn, you work by Care Grimoire.
That makes sense, though, because with what I was thinking for starting off with Care Grimoire as well is that it's a little seedier. So it makes sense that our evil would come to Vigil from Grimoire.
I haven't really gone that far into my backstory yet. I figured that would develop.
Neither have I. This is all up on the fly.
Now, again, can you give me the first name one more time?
Earconbert.
Earconbert. Is the emphasis there on the Bert? Like, is that emphasis where you're over enunciating Bert at the end? That's what you want? Aircon Bert?
Aircon Bert.
Okay.
So Bert.
Bert.
Like
Okay.
Ernie.
He's got a last name that you've given him too, yeah?
Yeah, Spinebender.
Spinebender. Love it.
As a book gnome.
All right, Liam, introduce us to your character.
Oh, we need a little more from our other,
Yeah, we didn't get his name.
from our monk there. I see him writing down.
Oh, sorry. My name's Fallon Moore. Been more or less with my chapter of Nethys. We'll make up an actual name for wherever I'm from later. For probably like 60-ish years. Not really high in the order or anything. That's why I got shoot out to go do things.
It's a lot to work with. I think it's lots that we can do in the future with that too. I'm excited.
I'm not going to do the voice until we're all in the same room as characters. Leave it as a surprise. But my character's name is Solomon. Oh gosh, my last name. Solomon Holtor.
Why do you do this to yourself?
He is an arena-bred half-orc from an illegal fighting ring in Kaer Grimward. By reaching age 18, which he is only a few months out from, in the training, he was taught a bunch of combat stuff, but he showed an ineptitude for magic, with a sorcerer's bloodline apparently flowing through one of the halves of his half-orc background. And it turned out that in his first couple fights, he was not really suited for it. He's big, he's 6 feet tall, but he's not much of a fighter, and his opponents ended up with a bit of this strange black ichor, this goo on them, and he was kind of then blacklisted from the fights right away, and the quote-unquote owner had a contact in Vigil that he wanted to kind of dump this nuisance of a kid on.
So you've been sold.
I've been sold, but as our character who is playing chaotic good, he does not really know that. The group he's fallen in with now that's bringing him to his first day here at this, the ambassador of the Forgetful God, they call him Lowman. Like, Saul Lowman. He's just like, oh, I have a nickname. But he's a half-orc, and so they're just kind of, it's a name they used to shit on him, but he's bright-eyed, he's bushy-tailed, and he won't be catching on to that for a while. And so any of the like weird evil stuff Connor's going to have to do, it won't have to be as secretive because he can get away with it based on like the naivete I'm hoping to bring with Holtor.
So,
and he's a sorcerer. Bloodline, I don't know if I should say right off the bat.
No, let's leave that for now.
Yeah. It's a bit of a mystery to him, and he's still figuring it out a bit, but it is.
So you're a sorcerer, right?
I'm a sorcerer, yeah.
You guys ready for the next part? Okay. So,
Wait, sorry. I have one question. What was the guy's name that owns this place? Moranis?
Uranus Hewlett.
Hewlett.
Like-
Mr. Hewlett.
Okay.
Rick Moranis?
That's by accident. It's not supposed to be like Moranis.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like someone else.
So he owns...
Yeah, it's called the Embassy of the Forgetful God, and you guys are all called the Ambassadors of Pain.
That is such a fucking edgelord name.
Yeah, Uranus isn't the brightest guy. Okay, so you're all sitting in the common room of the embassy, having like a morning ale, maybe some food. You see Uranus enter. His office is like up some stairs. He enters into the common room, and he's conversing with another person who's following him. Somebody you guys have never seen before. They're deep in conversation. The man is dressed in dark gray cloaks with little adornment. Does anyone have a knowledge religion check?
I do.
Give me a roll, and then the other two guys do a perception check.
I gotta get my dice out. I haven't used them in a while.
Ooh.
13 for me.
It's going to be a 15 for perception.
Okay.
22 knowledge religion.
Okay, great. Okay, so Connor, right away, like this, you look at this person, you're like, oh, that looks like he's probably a priest of Pharasma. Pharasma is the god of the underworld, basically. It's a neutral god. She's one of the oldest gods. She's one of the most powerful, apparently. She oversees the underworld, and this looks like one of her priests. There is a fairly large following in Throne Step where you guys are. So, I mean, you've seen them around town, especially, so you know quite a bit about the religion. Okay. The other two guys with your perception checks, you kind of hear a little bit of what's going on. You can kind of tell that this is a potential client for Moranis. So Moranis and the Mystery Man are making their way, talking to other members of the mercenary group in the tavern. They breeze past Jermak the Bold, hero of Kebab Past. They barely say 5 words to Bread the Barbarian. He's a disemboweler of Ugreen, the fierce giant, and they barely talk to him. They stop and talk with Douglas and Mal Costables. It's a husband and wife team. They're famous for stealing the jeweled necklace of Brabra Way, the Queen of Essenal. So they seem to talk to everyone in the place for a few minutes. The cloaked man doesn't seem impressed. He'll shake his head, maybe have a look of frustration. You're all watching this as this happens. Now, so Moranis now walks up to Lowman and says, "Oh, hi there, Lowman. I'd like to introduce you to Kierkegaard. He's a potential client. He just wants to meet some of the available people. Why don't you tell him of your skills?"
Morning. Good morning there, Mr. Hewlett.
Christ.
And sorry, it was Kierkegaard, Mr. Kierkegaard.
Yes, it's Kierkegaard.
It rightly is a pleasure. My name is Solomon. The friendly folks around here started calling me Low Man. I'm a bit of a fighter. I'm told I have a small knack for it, but I found recently I am a bit magically adept, and I sat here with these two who have not seemed to have said a word to me because this was the seat that was farthest away from the rest of the folks.
Shut up, Leo again.
Oh, that's such a good voice. You immediately made Taylor piss himself.
Oh, Christ, I'm crying.
Sorry, Mr. Kierkegaard, I realize that might not have answered the question. Sorry, I've only been here a few days. I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm fit to speak for the others, but I'm told I'm a sorcerer, although I'm not sure what that means quite yet.
That's interesting, young man. I think that could be something we could explore together. Nice to meet you. Moranis now turns to Fallon and says, Fallon, this is Kierkegaard. He'd like to just ask you a few questions. Sorry, I lost my way here. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, I was trying to think of a voice.
Also, fuck you for rhyming off 13 names.
We are never seeing them again.
I cannot write that fast.
I watched Eric's face as he did it. He knew what he was doing.
You don't need to know any of those names. They're just jokes.
Dickhead.
Bobo and Mabo.
I wasn't even paying attention to it. I'm like, oh God, I have to write this.
Bleep all of them out. He barely looks at beep and beep.
Anyway.
Okay, sorry. Let's redo.
Coming into Fallon.
Let's do. I lost my way in the notes here. I don't want to reintroduce Fallon first. I want to do Bert actually.
Editor's note.
So next we have the Bert. Hi, Bert. Nice of you to show up after last time. You know, I mean, with all the damages and expenses, I'm glad you're here. And then Kierkegaard cuts Moranis off. He's like, stop talking. You, gnome, tell me, what god do you serve?
I serve Nethys. Kermit E. Frog.
Don't.
Nethys, you say?
Yes.
I know a little bit about him. He's a newer god, is he not?
Oh, yes.
Oh, no. Nethys is an old god, the god of knowledge and destruction.
Destruction, you say?
Oh, yes.
No wonder you cause a lot of damages and expenses. Say, hey, Moranis, and he kind of like elbows Moranis a little bit, and Moranis like just puts his hand in his face a little bit, and like, yeah, expensive.
I do nothing that is not worthwhile.
Interesting. Well, thank you, young small friend. Moranis then now turns to Fallon more and says, finally, we have Fallon here. He's the gem of the stables currently. There's no one better at, he fetches a high price. Well, you'll not be disappointed. He makes a fabulous stew from found herbs and rabbits. Nothing like traveling with a good cook, I say. I'm not interested in his cooking. What other talents do you possess, young fellow?
Okay, just very slowly, like, Fallon's gonna kind of like look up, because during this whole thing, he's just been eyes deep in a book.
You have to leave that pause.
Reading old notes, making notations and everything. He's like,
I wish we did cameras.
"Oh, sir, were you talking to me? I do apologize. Could you repeat, who are you?"
Oh, sorry, I didn't notice that you were an elf. I assumed you were a young man. I'm Kierkegaard.
No, sir, I've walked this earth for... Hold on, I see something like 100. I am looking... How old am I? I do believe I am at the young age of 117.
I like the idea that he's looking for a note in his own book, that he's like, how old am I?
A few years on me, I believe. But I'm an old man, and my bones aren't quite as spry as yours, I would assume. I've always been fond of speaking with the fair folk.
Oh, it's quite young.
What skills do you possess in an adventure of travel and intrigue? How would you help me?
What's the layout of the room right now?
It's like a pretty big room. There's like tables all over the place. There's a hearth. People like talking. There's a bar.
Is he holding anything, or was he holding anything? Or
he's dressed in like robes, and his hands are like tucked in his long sleeves, and like his hood's down, but he's got a big hood.
Oh, I'm no slouch in a fight. That's how we came to this lovely abode. I can't speak for my brother from across the inland area, but I know my way around a fight, I guess. Maybe. Not quite particular for it. I think I've swifted accents about 3 or 4 times. Whatever. I'm trying.
No, you've stuck to it pretty well.
More consistent than Marcus's accent.
No, you're doing great.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. I'm just giving you shit.
Well, thank you. It's very enlightening. Miranis, can we retreat to your office? We have a few things more to discuss. So the two men make their way through the last few mercenaries they hadn't talked to in the room, and once finished, they head back to Miranis' office, leaving you a few minutes to talk. Do you guys want to talk amongst yourselves for a second?
Phelan? It was Phelan? Sorry, I saw you, I knew you had your nose deep in that book. I didn't want to bother you, but since you've been interrupted already, can I bother you?
You keep talking, all I see is Mater from Cars. Anyways, go ahead.
I despise that movie, so I will thank you to not reference it again. What's the goddamn point? The Toy Story worked because we cared about the toys and we interacted with them. The cars existing on their own means nothing. It takes all the value from them being alive. I have forgotten. One sec. You elven folk, you live a mighty long time, right?
Yes, indeed. Actually, I'm 155, just for future reference.
155. That's I just a few months ago I turned 18, and I'm looking to do Dallas. No,
what?
I enjoyed the joke.
It's an
that
old
stays in.
porn naming convention. Debbie does Dallas.
The fuck are you talking about?
It's
moving on. Moving on.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Fuck. Mr. Moore,
Fallon is fine.
Fallon. Thank you. That's mighty kind of you. Again, my name's Solomon.
You've mentioned.
Have you ever seen a ghost in your time? Is it?
I actually haven't left the monastery that often in recent years, so I'm gonna have to say no. I've not seen a ghost.
And you've never seen someone that you knew, someone like a human who was a little less long alive after they had stopped being alive? You've never seen any trace of that?
Do you mean undead? Because yes, I have seen the undead before.
I've never seen something I would call undead. I'm saying, have you ever seen someone that you've seen, but after you shouldn't be able to see them anymore? Do
you mean like they faked their own death and then tried to go into hiding?
No. Bert,
he means a ghost.
in your books, you see anything ever about ghosts?
Yes, there are many ghosts.
Oh, I thought you meant from personal experience. No,
Many ghosts.
no, not from personal experience.
No, from personal experience. You ever seen a ghost? But they exist, right? Like you guys have all these books. I've only
There are many recountings.
Yes, ghosts are true.
Ghosts are true. Okay. That is and at that I want to pull out
The writ.
This like little this tiny little ledger. It's barely the size of like a college rule book. And it's got the writ, written on the page. It's bound in like shit leather. It looks like it's tied over the string. I'm just going to open it up to like 30 pages into the thing and just start writing down. And
you immediately have Bert's attention.
You also have my attention.
All I imagine is like a tally where like
have you seen a ghost?
Don't believe in ghosts. They're just like 2 more for the believes.
Yeah, it's literally like
The evidence is mounting.
it's like the biblical thing where it's like Judah begat where it's like Bert believes in ghosts. Phelan believes in ghosts. Who believes in Bert? Who believes in ghosts?
10 more people on the belief side than there are on the not belief side. We're busting this case wide open.
I'm a man of science. I just start like scribbling down.
Okay, so I'm going to cut you guys off there. I think that was good. So after what only feels like a few minutes, Miranus re-enters the room. He's got like a medieval version of a clipboard. He clears his throat. He addresses the eager crowd. Everyone's kind of peeked up because, this could be a job for them, right? All right, you filthy curs. All you seem to do is eat and drink. It's a wonder I can keep you all fed. Luckily, we keep managing to reel in some suckers. This Kierkegaard fellow is hiring 3 of you to take him to vigil. I convinced him to pay 3 times the going rate for the job. All right, so, Fallon Moore, Bert Spinebender, and, Loman. All right, Loman, yeah, I guess the new guy. Come on up, come up to my office. I gotta talk to you 3.
But I was actually just starting this new book. I don't know if I'm quite ready to be leaving.
Fallon, do you want lunch today?
Yes, okay, yes, I'll be right. I'll be coming.
Get up here.
Mr. Kierkegaard asked for us?
Yes, Solomon, come along.
Oh, all right. Oh.
You guys get some jabs, and other people are like cajoling you, like, oh, good job, or I can't believe they hired the gnome. You hear varying degrees of congratulations or snide remarks as you pass through the crowd.
Unsurprising.
I feel like I need to address this immediately with you, Connor. How long before I pick up the gnome? Like, when do you want that bit to happen? Because it's going to happen. I'm a 6 foot whatever half orc, and you're a little Kermit the Frog. Like, at what point do we freak the mighty? Do we wait?
We wait.
Okay. So I gather my things and not the gnome.
Jesus, this is the second Freak the Mighty reference in our fucking podcast.
I need to keep referring to it so people don't forget it exists.
No one knows
then
what
I
it
seem
is.
crazy because
I can't find it anywhere.
And I can't find it anywhere either. I feel like a psychotic.
You are.
Carry on.
So the 3 of you enter Miranus' dim, wooden paneled office. It's got maps on the walls, papers strewn about. He has you sit in 3 chairs there in front of his desk. All right, let's take attendance. Loman.
Sitting right in the middle. Present, sir.
Fallon? Fallon Moore.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, check. Bird. Why, Bird?
Here.
Bird, don't try to blow anything up while you're in here, okay?
I'll wait.
And I know how many books are on that shelf next to you, so don't. I'm starting to talk like Loman with a southern accent here.
Your books are worthless to me.
Don't you be taking those books. I know that there's 3 books there.
I don't need them.
Okay? Well, don't make fun of my books. Like, those are.
Could I borrow one?
They're hardly.
Fallon, I've had it up to here with you. Okay?
I haven't had a chance to read many books. What with the? Can I borrow a couple books if anyone else is borrowing a couple books? I mean, if it's a long way to Vigil,
I am not running a library here. I'm running the Ambassadors of Pain, a high-grade mercenary company, and you three make me look bad all the time. Especially, well, not Lowman. I mean, it's your first day.
I do believe you said I was the cream of the crop earlier. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Okay.
I thought that meant you make
still counts.
Corn
I was trying to talk you up so I could hit him up for some more money when he wanted to hire you, and it worked. So that Kierkegaard fellow, he needs you all three to be ready first thing tomorrow morning. So make sure you're awake and ready to go. You can help yourself to any horses you need. If you need any equipment, go see Deve. If you have any equipment needs, Vigil is only about 1 week away. So make haste, get in there safely, and head straight back. No side trips, you hear? I might have another job lined up, and I think I might need all hands on deck, okay?
Mr. Hewlett, sir. What if they're slipping into Irish? I used to be able to separate these.
Southern's really easy. You just got to pull the drawl.
Southern's real easy. Mr. Hewlett, I guess my questions are twofold. The first is there is a horse available for my particular condition. I know on the way here I was made to walk. Are there any horses that won't be spooked by me?
We have some well-trained horses. Don't you worry there, low man. I know you're new, but you're among friends here, okay? Like as long as you keep doing good work, there's horses, there's equipment. Kierkegaard's paying for everything, so don't worry.
That's good, because all the horses coming out of Care Grimoire were mighty skittish, and so I've been thrown a couple times, and so I'm hoping it'll be a mite bit easier. And my second question is, should the road to Vigil present any issues? You say no side trips, but if it is for the preservation of our esteemed guest, should we not go through the mountains just south of here? The foothills before the actual mountains would make for a much safer passage than the standard road. Are we not? Is he concerned? I feel like this was a very vague briefing, and from my training from before, we were taught to assess threats that could come from multiple sides, and so I just wanted to know if you had thought of that, Mr. Hewlett, sir.
Well, man, I know you're new to this area. The hills are more likely to contain bandits or goblins or wild things. The road's usually a lot safer. And I believe the main reason he's hiring us is it sounds like he has an important package to deliver down to Vigil. And he doesn't want any problems along the road, but the road's the quickest, fastest way there. So, you shouldn't be going into those hills.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, Bert's here is the senior member of the company, so he's in charge. Against my better judgment, I think we're going to go by seniority here, okay? So he's in charge.
Aye, Captain.
Every time you talk, I just regret so many regrets. But
wait, Mr. Hewlett, you're a captain's rank in some sort of guard company, and I've been referring to you as Mr. I do apologize, Captain. I'm sorry.
Lawman,
terribly sorry.
Stop. I'm being facetious.
I'm not certain. I'm aware of what
I was going to ask. Do you know what that means, Solomon?
I believe it is to be catty for no reason other than humor. Correct?
Very good, Solomon.
All right, and that was funny. Then I do commend you on the caliber.
Solomon, shut up.
Yes, sir, Mr. Moore.
Well, man, I know you got a lot to learn here. You don't have to call me Captain, Sir, or Muranus or Hewlett. As long as you talk to me respectfully and realize that, we're a partnership here. I'm trying to get you guys jobs so we both get paid. I am in charge, but you don't have to call me Captain.
Who is the captain then? I was.
That was good. Very funny.
Any other questions for Muranus?
No. Let's go.
Sorry, where are we going?
You're traveling south from Throne Step to Vigil, which is the main city on the wall itself.
For those of us not looking at the map, Care Grimwald is lined up with Vigil and the beacon of
you would have
just south.
You probably
of
would have passed. Actually, no. We're gonna say that you traveled up to the
Came up
Nine
to that
Watchmen
route.
and then came down.
Yeah.
We'll say that you did that. So you haven't been to Vigil before. Bert, he might have in his travels. I don't believe Fallon Moore would have at all. Depends. Like, is Throne Step your first stop from the monastery, Taylor?
Sure.
Yeah, well, we're coming from north of here for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
I assume whatever the most northern Nine Watchmen, I would probably have hit.
We'd be even further north than that.
Yeah, this is just a small, tiny piece, right? So, like, there's all of Europe basically above this.
Oh, yeah, then we came from...
I like the idea of everyone having hit the Nine Watchmen, so if we do end up in this world for a lot of episodes, we can, like, explore the near misses we had.
Oh, there's going to be lots.
Zeros.
Yeah, so, like, the Nine Watchmen, it's a large port city. Lots of traffic comes through there.
Craziest thing, it's one city, it's 3 main districts, and there are 9 massive towers, and they call those the Watchmen. I thought that was just the darndest thing, having not understood why it was called that. It's one town, why would it be 9 of anything? But there are 9 towers.
So you're very talkative.
I reckon from the map.
Solomon.
That was bang on.
Yes.
Perfect.
Shut up.
Gathered all that from the map. I'm so happy. It's said that the 9 Watchmen are watching against some sort of ancient evil, and they're ancient towers that have never fallen.
Finale material. Once Vigil falls.
Yeah, any other questions for Moranis before he kicks you out of his office?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay.
Who is the captain? Sorry. No, we're good.
Okay, do you guys need to try to hit anyone up for equipment, or do you guys have any other things to talk about amongst yourselves?
I don't think so.
Can you name everyone again?
What was? Yeah, just nice and clear for posterity.
Okay, so there's Bread the Barbarian, the disemboweler of Green the Fierce Giant, Jermak the Bold, hero of Kebab Pass. There is Douglas and Mal Costable. They're the husband-wife team that are famous for stealing the jeweled necklace of Brabra Wiglin, the Queen of Essenal.
What are these
I don't
jokes?
see any of these places.
The Green Giant.
I
I got that one.
yeah,
Red the Barbarian.
The Green Giant.
Red?
But
Yeah.
They're funny to me, and I don't care if they're funny to anyone else.
Yeah, no, I think the audience deserves to hear. Yeah.
no, explain them.
You guys are in an embassy, and you
Murray.
work for Murray, and there's Jermaine the Bold,
Okay.
Brett the Barbarian,
Yep.
Eugene the Fierce Giant, Doug and Mal.
Flight of the fucking Concords.
Bravra was a girl that both Jermaine and Brett tried to go after.
Legged blonde.
Steve is the guy who you can get equipment from, and Dave is the guy who runs the pawn shop.
Fuck yourself, Brett.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, Brett.
Wonderful.
I just can't.
Okay.
I can't do a New Zealand accent. Otherwise, I would have done it.
New Zealand's so easy.
I tried. It doesn't sound good when I try.
No, New Zealand's tough.
It's just monotone.
I could say certain things like "Go fuck yourself, Brit," but then it turns Irish, and I was like, "What the fuck, Eric? You suck."
Go fuck yourself, Brett.
So
You just got to keep every single word very short.
We're swearwolves, not werewolves. No, we're werewolves, not swearwolves.
oh, did you catch when Murray was having you guys do attention?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
just like
fuck,
Murray.
it's so good. I'm going to take it out so people don't know right away, because that's a fun little Easter egg. But you brilliant bastard.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, I'd like us to have some fun with this one. We're gonna try to have let's tone it down a little bit from our other campaign. Let's keep up the jokes and fun stuff, and I'll try to throw Easter eggs in where I can.
Dig it.
Oh, we weren't going for total seriousness when we made these characters?
No,
You made Kermit the
you've had some
Frog.
great jokes so far.
I was so ready for Taylor having the opportunity to be the last one to do a voice, for you to do your speaking voice and just be like, yes, I am an elf. Hello. I am very old.
But you can go fuck yourself.
Go fuck
So,
yourself,
no,
Brett.
I do not need any equipment from Deve.
Perfect. So you guys will just get some horses, and you meet Kierkegaard the next morning. He greets you. He asks you to make sure that you all have everything you need to hit the road. Do you have any questions or anything for him?
Do you mind if I read?
What you do after the campfire and everything at the end of the day is fine, but I mean, during the day you have to keep your eyes peeled, paying you to protect me on the road.
Oh, yes, of course.
So just, sorry, for our frame of reference, there's going to be just the four of us, a package, and 4 horses?
Yeah, and like the package, it's nothing small thing that's in his saddlebag. It's not like it's a cart or anything. It's 4 horses, you guys, that's it.
So there's not like wagons we can circle to make camp. It's going to just be like day, night, night. Get
but
off the road.
From your travel from the Nine Washington, the areas, like especially towards the main road, there you might not always be staying every night. Like there's going to be inns and stuff along the way as well. So I mean, like some of it's going to be wild. It's just he's an old man. He doesn't want to make this travel alone. He wants some people with him in case someone tries to give him trouble.
Jaw fucking feel.
Mr. Kierkegaard, was it? Mr. Kierkegaard.
Yes.
I reckon we'll be having someone watching nights. Is there a particular is there any particular way I could have either first or last watch if that is in the cards? I'm sorry, I should be asking Bert this.
Yeah, this isn't a question for me. However, the 3 of you wish to split up your.
I would very much like Mr. Bert, sir, if I could be taken either the first or the last watch. I find being awake in the middle of the night is something that has not sat well with my constitution in the past.
It depends on how the day goes, but realistically, it should be fine.
Alrighty. And on another note, Mr. Kierkegaard, and I'm gonna, if we're on our horses already, I'm gonna like ride up in front with him, and I'm gonna just start asking him if he knows about ghosts.
Let's do that later. We'll have. I cannot wait for that conversation. Let's not do it yet. Let's do it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, when you're saying who he worships, I was like, I gotta ask him.
It's perfect. Yeah, I'm so happy. I can't wait to have that conversation. Let's save that for next episode. I feel like you might be in reverence of him.
Yeah.
For the first little bit, that you're like, I don't know if I can add him to the tally yet.
I'm gonna ride my horse like half a horse length behind him, so like shoulder to hip on the 2 horses. So I'm not like close enough to converse with him, but not far enough away that it's like I'm giving him space. I'm just kind of like nervously.
I haven't cried laughing in a long time.
It's been a while.
But that was fucking gold. That was so good. You are like one of the only people that can make me do that.
Grew up tiny, gotta be very funny.
All right.
So
I'm gonna ask him if he knows about ghosts. Fuck me.
Anyone who like plays Pathfinder who's listening is going to be like, I know what his bloodline is. And it feels so silly keeping it a secret, but I love it. I also made a token, and I know we don't need it for what we're doing, but it's the vampire token from 2-Minute Token Editor. Cool. But I made him green. I look for the sturdiest, both mentally and physically looking corsair that I can find in the stables and ride along.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys all get like just regular run-of-the-mill horses. I'm sure Bert gets a pony.
I was going to say, I'm going to need a pony.
Yeah, so you guys saddle up, you get your gear together.
Well, I saddle up my horse and I ride out of the cave.
You do. So eventually you guys all walk through the town. It's uneventful. There's no suspicious looking people following you or anything.
Do we have to take a ferry out of Throne Step?
Yeah. Eventually you all cram onto a ferry. It's taking you across the lake surrounding Throne Step. The boat's crowded. There's merchants with wagon loads of goods. Soldiers undoubtedly heading to the wall. A few half-orcs huddled in one corner trying to mind their own. There's even a halfling family. They're talking loudly and boisterously about their big move to a new lord to take over his massive gardens. The boat's alive with hustle and bustle of everyday people, except for Kierkegaard. He seems to be in a sour mood. You can tell he's really guarding his pack intently. So eventually the ferry lands in this small town that's simply known as Landing. For some, this small town was their destination. Others, their journey is just beginning, such as yourself.
Oh, the whole time on the boat, I very deliberately opened that little notebook to a page that was very clearly like dog-eared. And I'm writing on that page kind of in the middle of everything.
Okay, cool. Want to do anything on the boat at all? We're going to just keep plugging along.
Just size everybody up, but that's about
the
it.
usual.
You did mention the half-orcs, but...
Yeah, I mean, nothing suspicious. there's everyone's. It seems like they're minding their own business. So you end up traveling the same way as the halfling family and an iron merchant with a couple guards with them and a large wagon, stores of iron. They're both heading south at this. So I mean, the halfling family, they have like all their worldly possessions with them. They're using. Have you guys ever seen the Chinese one-wheeled carts?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the husband and wife both have one of those types of carts, and they have like 6 kids with them. Kids sometimes run alongside their parents. So you guys are kind of traveling with, like, not with them, but like around them. Same with the merchant. Like you guys are kind of like a little caravan, kind of formed like a little bit of a unit. So you guys do camp together at night, and you might talk along the road. Do you want to say anything specific to the iron merchant or the halfling family?
Clamp jawed around the families.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have much to say.
Yeah, you wouldn't really want to interact with them, I feel like.
No, we're on a job here, and more importantly, not a friendly dude.
I feel like Kierkegaard would be a bit friendlier with like the family than he is with the iron merchants. So, but like everyone kind of shares and does food and stuff. So like you guys have some dealings with them. Like,
nothing out of
maybe you guys do the firewood one day. So, but like, yeah, so you guys aren't getting really close to these people at all.
No.
We look like mercenaries. Come on.
So yeah, you guys would probably actually be like wearing like a doublet or something, like something marking you as ambassadors of pain. And it's like some people might recognize that as a legitimate mercenary company, be wary of you or talk you guys up because of that. So eventually, after a few days, you come to the crossroads. So to the west is the road leading to the 9 Watchmen, and then to the south is the way to Vigil. So the Iron Merchant heads off to the west, and the halfling family has decided to stay in the village for a few more days, give their children a bit of a rest before making the last leg of their journey. The halfling tells you guys, if you ever wanted to look him up, he's on the Wash Keys estate. It's only a few days travel away.
Yeah, so he tells us to look him up on Fantasy Craigslist.